There's a big question happening with a lot of homeowners, especially those who have their home on the market right now, which is, why is my home not selling? I will be completely transparent. I have listings that aren't selling, and it may not be your home. Let's have a little market update on what's going on here in St. Johns County. Now, a couple different ways on how we're gonna go through this in this market update of what's going on in St. Johns. I actually went ahead and I pulled in AI, a part of this, because I wanna really see what they are saying based on market conditions, on what they're basically pulling data from. And then I'm gonna use local results, as well as I have listings in the area and I have things going on of what I'm seeing as a listing agent here specifically in St. Johns County. So me and Gemini are in a conversation right now, and I'm really saying, why is my home not selling? I'm pretending to be the seller, and it's saying, I can offer a breakdown of the most common reasons a home may not be selling in the current market here in St. Johns County, combining with local real estate trends and general selling principles. St. Johns County housing market has definitely had a shift moving forward to more balanced market. From a seller's market condition the past few years, this means that buyers have more options and are being more selective. Here are most likely some reasons that your home hasn't sold. Number one, pricing, the most common factor. In a cooling and stabilizing market, overpricing is the number one reason a home will sit and not sell. The market has shifted, the testing strategies backfire, and the seller confidence and buyer reality is very, very different. But let's get into some of those. So ChatGPT and Gemini are basically saying that home prices in St. Johns County have been extremely high, but data shows that the median range is starting to dip. And some homes are taking longer to sell, longer to meet like average days on market significantly, and buyers are no longer willing to pay last year's premiums. I will tell you, as an agent, I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this right now heavily, because I'm not seeing buyers want to basically just settle what they've had to do in the past few years. I'm seeing them really kind of say, okay, I want more move-in ready. Really cosmetic reasons why some of them aren't saying yes, which is kind of a shift, because I'm also a buyer's agent as well, so I know what that means, but I care about your 4 points. I'm not saying, oh, I think you should remodel the bathroom. Yes, eventually, if that's something you want to do, you could do that, but everyone has a different preference. The main things are what 4 points are the most important. But with this new market shift, buyers are just not wanting to pay these top premium prices if it doesn't make sense in the end, especially with interest rates the way they are, how they're basically hovering right at the low sixes, high fives. So that's really not the market where the buyers are just gonna fly things off the shelf. They're gonna be thinking over things and mulling them over a little bit more. And also, to know your buyer right now, the buyer in this market is millennials. Millennials are looking at buying now. We realize that we either missed the market then, but now we're buying. So that's why we want this move-in ready, is because we probably don't know how to fix it. And I'm just gonna be completely honest about my generation. So the testing strategy backfires, lists at a high price just to see, and can make the mistake for a lot of sellers. A home gets the most attention in the first few weeks. If it's overpriced, buyers will overlook it. And when the price lowers, it looks stale to potential buyers. Now, I've even been in this situation as a listing agent where a home has been on the market for a while now. And really, honestly, the only strategy that you really have at that point, it's not always price. So we'll lower the price, 100%. I'll give you the data, the research on why it should be at this price. But the problem is, the higher days on market you are, the more people think that something is wrong with the home, and you don't want to chase the market. You're chasing the market, you're going to lose more money than if you would have priced it where you should have to begin with. Now, a lot of things go into pricing, and we'll get into that in a second, but doing the let's see if we can shoot our shot isn't the ideal thing, because I'm letting you know on the buyer's agent side, but we're shooting our shot and we're seeing how low can we go. I'm playing limbo over here. And of course, as a listing agent, it sucked. But an offer is an offer. And that's the most important thing. And also important to know that a lot of these offers coming in are contingent. A lot of people are contingent as well. And we touched a little bit on this one too, but they're mentioning how seller confidence and buyer reality are just not lining up. So basically, sellers are still sitting at their prices at the peak of the market, while buyers are dealing with high mortgage rates and affordability constraints, making it unwilling for both parties to work together. And so it's kind of like where we have to find this happy medium to come together and either offer incentives, concessions, because the main thing is, especially here in St. Johns County, is at the end of the day, our biggest competition is new construction. Just be reality with that. Even if you're not in a new construction area, the low interest rates that they're offering, the low prices that they're offering, we honestly can't compete with that as sellers. Like, it's very, very difficult for us to try to replicate what these high-end companies are doing. Builders such as, I don't know, Dream Finders, Mattamy Homes, Lennar, all of them are offering killer deals for the millennials that are buying their first home. Now, number two, they're saying the reason may be condition or presentation. And it says, even a desirable area, but a poorly presented home struggles to compete. But I agree with this because, okay, you're on a dating app, right? You're gonna look at that first photo. If the first photo doesn't attract you, you're most likely not gonna read that description to see how their personality is, right? We live in a very superficial world. Let's not even pretend like that's not even true, but the curb appeal is super important. Even professional photos, engaging the listing description, attractive main photo, really that first initial like, ooh. But anyways, the main thing is to make sure that you present your home the best it could be. You wanna put your best self out there. You wanna put your best footage of your home out there. I've even had scenarios where if it's sat on the market a little bit, I'm like, okay, let's declutter, let's paint, let's do this, let's do new photos, we'll do a new marketing scheme to make this house look different and present it the way that we know that it can present itself. So even that's an important strategy plan too. If you've been on a market for a little bit, maybe you do just need a fresh look. You need to move some furniture around. That sounds really, really dumb, but people can't see past things nowadays. They have to kind of visualize it. And I mean, if you have warm lighting in your house probably looks dark. You should do daylight, bright white, so then you can make sure you have enough lighting. And I'm saying that because my stupid fan is yellow and I have white light on me so that you guys can see clearly and you see everything going on. But another one is lack of readiness. So not being really move-in ready, either being updated, showing that you're ready to move out. I know that if you see a cluttered home, I would be terrified as a buyer wondering if you're even ready to leave. Or even as a buyer's agent saying like, okay, are they gonna go? If I see things in boxes, I'm like, ooh, they're ready. Okay, we can definitely do this in 30 days. But having that done, but then major red flags, having the readiness of, is your 4-point done? Which what I mean by 4-point, I mean your electrical, plumbing, HVAC, and your roof. Do I have any of those major issues that's gonna cause insurance problems? Water heater's another one that not many people think of. You're supposed to change out your water heater if you didn't know. 8 to 10 years is typically what it is. Some people go beyond that. That's between them and their water heater and their insurance company. But they wanna make sure that there's no hidden problems. Because again, the generation that's purchasing right now is not a fix-it generation. They're a get new generation, and sometimes getting new is very, very not cost effective, expensive. And another one they mentioned is again with the staging and the decluttering or the no staging. People don't envision things nowadays. Even if you do virtual staging online, people can't really see it in person. Like you just have an empty room, they're gonna be like, I don't know what can fit in here. This room is so small. Or this room is huge. How can I even envision this? My house wasn't even staged. It was virtually staged, but I'm like, I don't know what to do. And just having that kind of instruction on how they can have that help of what they could do, help build the dream. They need that nowadays, especially because we're literally, I don't know what's wrong with this generation, with this creativity lack of. And number 3, market changes here in St. Johns County. Now, this is a big one that's happened. I feel like some of us feel like we just got whiplash, like we just came to a complete halt. Local conditions are less favorable for quick sales than a few years ago. So increased inventory has happened with the number of homes that we've had on market based on our supply. So supply and demand is a big thing that deals with what the market is, if it's a buyer's market or seller's market. So right now we actually have quite a bit of inventory. So a balanced market is between 4 to 6 in the months that basically would take to sell the property. And so right now we're at 5.2, and then the average days on market is about 62 days on market. Now that was not like that obviously during COVID days when we were seeing like things flying off the shelf in like 0.3 seconds. Some agents didn't even have time to put things on the MLS because they put their shine in the yard and be sold. But now we're definitely having a huge shift in that, where now there is a ton of inventory out there, both new and both used homes. But resale homes are also, there's a lot of inventory in a lot of different neighborhoods. In some of these master plan communities that are selling already too soon when they're not even ready or mature enough of a community to have gained the equity that they had. But that's a whole different tangent. We'll have to go down there another day. But yes, agreeing with them that longer days on market is also hitting us very hard compared to how it was a few years ago. And then also affordability issues with interest rates being where they're at. But I will tell you, we have seen them in the 7s and we're in the low 6s right now. I have a 7.2, okay? So it's been worse. And also, why don't you be born in the 80s, okay? They Actually, don't be born in the 80s because you wouldn't have a home. But in the 80s, it was like 18% and people were paying crazy things. And don't even tell me, oh, well, affordability was different. They made less money. You make more money than them right now. But I do understand affordability is an issue. But I will tell you, buyers, you should shoot your shot. Sellers, I understand where you're at right now. And it's frustrating and it's discouraging and it's overwhelming. If your agent is not communicating with you on what's going on in the market and what they're doing to market your home and trying to strategize together to try to bring in some buyers, whether it be for open houses or showings, have that conversation with them and say, hey, this market is shifting. I heard this on a YouTube video. Can we try to strategize together? Like that one, you shouldn't even be asking your agent that one, but that's a whole different story. Again, not gonna go down that tangent. Let's keep going for ChatGPT because we're gonna talk about accessibility and marketing. Now, accessibility, I will agree that if you are not really flexible with your time frame on when you could do showings and schedule showings and everything like that, and again, with open houses and everything like that, having your home being able to be shown is a huge part of this entire process of selling the home, right? So you wanna make sure that, you don't have a 48-hour notice, or a 24-hour notice is even difficult too. But I always tell people, okay, if you want a 24-hour notice, know that I'm gonna call you if I have a serious buyer on the phone. Because if you're a serious seller, then you're going to be able to, flex and bend with what needs to be done based on this buyer coming in, because we do live in a very tourist central area. So because of that, a lot of snowbirds are starting to come down because it's starting to go cooler up north. So it's important that we have our properties ready to be shown so that these people can come in and make offers and see their judgment call on the property. Another one is wrong agent. An agent with a strong local knowledge is super crucial. I think I mentioned that a little bit when I'm like, your agent should be communicating with you. I literally have called agents. I do probably every couple weeks, probably about a month. If, I'm like, what the heck's going on? I call them before I list, I call them after. I almost call it a wellness check to them, like, hey, you guys still alive? But I give weekly updates to my sellers, and a lot of them aren't giving that. And I will even give, hey, here's an updated home estimate. This is what we had when we listed. Here's where we're at based on market conditions in your specific neighborhood, not just based on what Zillow says or what Northeast Florida says or anything like that. I hyper focus it into your neighborhood to see what our competition is. Because as much as I can give you data for what's happening in St. Johns County, there's a lot of difference that's happening in Nocatee than it is in St. Johns County, or a lot of difference that's happening in Palencia than it is to St. Johns County. So different neighborhoods have different stats that's going on, and my job is to make sure I educate you so that we can make sure that the pricing isn't overpriced. We can make sure that we're marketing the way that we need to market for your property, because we need to know who your buyer is. A little bit more data I wanted to share before we went ahead and jumped into what things we could do to help your listing right now. But the median price range right now in St. Johns County, we are looking at $476,000 is what we're dealing with right now, and sold to list ratio, that's basically what you put your home on the market for, and what you end up selling it for is at 95%, which is down from the last few years. It's kind of gotten stable since like 2025 beginning going into this next year. Now for a second, I just want to talk to my buyers. Now I know sellers, you also will be buyers. That's why this is important for you guys as well. But options are starting to decline. While there is more on the market than the previous year, we've seen a peak in homes for sale in 2025, and you'll likely have fewer options to choose from throughout the end of the year. And that's honestly just because, one, buyers are making moves, and two, sellers are getting off the market if they're not getting the price that they're wanting. I am seeing a lot of that and a lot of other things that I'm seeing, unfortunately, as well. But new construction remains to be a great deal, which we talked about in a little bit in the beginning. They offer lower prices, higher credits and concessions. Now seller insight. A little bit of insight as we adjust expectations in today's market. With 5.2 months of supply and 62 days on market, it obviously is not a seller's market as we're entering in like it was in 2021 and 2022. Pricing accurately and be prepared for a longer marketing period. Your agent should be prepared for a longer marketing period. And also, just because it hasn't sold in 30 days, please do not get discouraged. People are obviously sitting on for a little bit longer, and in some areas even longer. So that's important to know, and depending on what type of property you have, whether it be a single family home, modular home, or townhome, condo, some different markets are having different struggles in themselves. So that's an important note to make sure that you're aware of as well. Many sellers are choosing to wait. Last month, inventory declined 7% in St. Johns County for a lot of homeowners. And I will tell you, I even have had listing appointments where they said, hey, we're just gonna wait for the spring. or we've even had sellers take their house off the market and they're just gonna wait for the spring as well. So that's something that I'm seeing a lot happen as well in the area. But what Gemini is basically saying is they're saying that some opportunities to be able to possibly help your home sell before the end of the year, one of those being a price adjustment. Review your price against the most recent sales and comparables. Your agent should be sending you these, whether it be every few weeks to at least once a month to get an update, because it changes every month as well. Pay attention to the ones that have sold versus your house and the other ones sitting on the market. What made that home sell? What I've done is I've actually called the agent. I've called the buyer's agent. Why did you go under contract? Did you look at this home? It kind of looks like our home. Did you even consider our home? Like, tell me about that. And just really being able to know your market and what you're looking at and looking at your pricing as well, and making sure you strategically price where your market value is, because your market value does change once a month. I didn't know if you knew that. Present an audit. So what I would do is possibly have a deep clean, declutter, really having someone else come in there with a fresh pair of eyes. And I'm saying this because I just had a seller do it. My heart was literally like pounding out of my chest. But I wanted to get other agents' opinions on what they thought about the home, because I walked through the entire process with them of before, when it, oh my gosh, it needed to be cluttered, to now finally being decluttered, and it even needs a little bit more, but I'm thinking it looks great because I've been in it the whole entire time. And that just having another agent set of eyes is great, either through a broker's open, I call it a sip and comp, or having another open house, but inviting agents over and getting agents' opinion. I've even sent it to other agents in the neighborhood and I'm like, what do you think? Like, tell me, like, why do you think it's not selling? How's yours going? I'll basically judge yours. Or I told one client it'd be funny to do like a roast your house thing. So then you can find out all the bad things that no one's telling you. Some people are too nice, or if you have a audio device inside your house and you're listening and you're getting your feelings hurt anyways, which don't do that, or disclose it if you are. Also get feedback again from other agents, just honest feedback. What I do during open houses, I was like, just tell me, I don't own it. Like, just tell me what you think, what you feel, what you would change. I think that's a big thing too, is finding out what you would change or other buyers would change. And although that's not going to change you changing it, like I'm not telling you to, rip out your kitchen, rip out your bathroom, but at least for us to know about those items, how much do they cost? What are buyers thinking about when they're coming in? Is that something that we could offer as a credit? Is that something that we could make work? Or is it best that we take your house off the market and we move it to the spring? Because we are in such a shift in the market. But I'm not telling you that the spring market's gonna be a seller's market either. I'm just saying, based on our market conditions right now, your home hasn't sold. I have clients, their home hasn't sold, but I'm continuously updating them on what's going on in the market. One just decided to pull off, two just went under contract. So things are starting to move here, but the important thing is to make sure you're listening and seeing those movements in the market and adjusting based on those. But that's just, what's going on currently as we enter into Q4, which is October of 2025, as we go to December of 2025, and kind of have this adjustment happen throughout the time. But if you guys have questions or you're seeing something else in your market, please let me know. Comment below if you're not seeing this happen in the St. Johns County market. Tell me what you are seeing, because just as a buyer's agent and a listing agent, I completely am agreeing with a lot of the things that they're saying and giving you the data of what's going on. It's a changing market. The main thing is, the biggest thing is if your agent is not communicating with you, whether you're a buyer or a seller, it is a changing market, and there's strategies for both of you guys to both have a win-win situation, because it's not a full buyer's market and it's not a full seller's market. But we need to come to a happy medium and both come to an agreement to make this all work so everyone's goal can actually happen. And that's my goal, is to help you guys strategize and make the goal possible. But that's what I have for today. That is the current market update for the end of the year as we enter into the end of the year. I just said that twice. I'm here just to give you guys information, help you feel local, and also just bring some understanding that maybe you're not getting from anyone else, or you're just believing the fluff that they put online that they're possibly lying to you about, or the big billboards that are saying the world's coming down. I promise this isn't Chicken Little. It's just an adjustment. And this is just a conversation and making sure that you're educated on what's happening in our local market, not just on a national standard, but on a local standard as well. But until next time, I'm Denny Judd. I'll see you guys.